Doug Keynes will start for the Bruins tonight. He's played 23 games, 14, 6, and 3, and a 3.31 goals against average. The statistics for the native of Pembroke, Ontario, Doug Keynes. We're ready to go at Boston Garden. Third and final meeting of the season. The first place Edmonton Oilers of the Smythe Division and the fourth place Boston Bruins of the Adams. And immediately the puck is cleared into the Boston zone. Ray Bourque back to get it. Clearing it out on the boards, knocked down and held in by the Oilers. Here's Pat Hughes behind the goal. He's checked, and Butch Goring flips the puck high in the air to the Edmonton end of the rink, and chasing back after it, Kevin Lowe. He gets it to number 24, McClellan. Trying to clear it. Bourque at the point, held it in. He's checked, and now McClellan gets it out of the zone again. Here's a lead pass for number 12, Hunter. Off his stick as Dave Hunter couldn't control it. Here's Lowe. Shot it behind the goal, and Blum, a former Edmonton player, cleared it on the boards. Intercepting, the Oilers drop it to Lowe. A shot wide by about a foot. Now Fogelin shot it behind the goal, and Ray Bourque, after a 4-game absence with a knee injury, back in the lineup, shot it to center. Intercepted by Fogelin, cleared into the Boston zone, and it's offside at the Boston blue line. Tonight in the NHL, other games along with this one here at Boston Garden. The St. Louis Blues at Montreal. The New York Islanders at Quebec. Washington visits New Jersey, and Detroit will play at Philadelphia.
Well, so far in this game tonight, the Boston Bruins and the Oilers really, in the first shift of the game, no one applied much pressure, just doing a little bit of feeling out in the neutral ice area. But watch Mr. Gretzky's line. They are out here, Curry and Krushelnyski.
And out against them, the Bruins send Steve Kessler. Here is the puck shot in, and the play was offside at the Boston blue line. I mentioned at the outset, as you look at Paul Coffey, one of the outstanding defensemen in this game, and Gary, they tell me he was outstanding the other night in a Edmonton victory against the Islanders. You saw that.
He showed tremendous leadership, Dan, in leading his team out of a 4-1 deficit in that first period of play, and he just wheeled from one end of the ice to the other all night and shot that puck as if he was going to put it right through goaltender.
Here is Gary Curry, checked in the play by Milbury. The Gretzky, Curry, Krushelnyski line is out there, and the Bruins have the Casper, O'Reilly, Courtnall line out to check it. Here's Paul Coffey weaving his way in, but the play goes offside at the Boston Bruin blue line. Mike Krushelnyski, of course, back in Boston Garden, where up until the end of last year he was a very popular member of the Bruins.
He's been a popular Edmonton Oiler this year, not so much in the last month. He's scored 39 goals so far this year for the Oilers. He was not, over the course of the last few weeks, teamed up with his line mates Gretzky and Curry, but he was reunited with them in the game in Long Island, and he is back with them again tonight.
That'll put you in a slump if they take you off that line.
That it will.
Here's Curry dropping it into his zone to Huddy. Now to Coffey. Courtnall almost intercepted. Here's a lead pass to Gretzky. Gretzky looks for Curry, but the pass tipped away by Casper. Now Keynes out of the net, gets caught out of there. Krushelnyski as Keynes gets back in. Krushelnyski dropped it, but number 32, Courtnall, comes to center. Into O'Reilly, broken up by Huddy. And here's Coffey. Quick pass to Gretzky. Only O'Connell back. Gretzky backhander. Keynes the save. And Milbury cleared the rebound. Doug Keynes stopping Gretzky on a backhand effort. Now Curry holding it in. Milbury checked him and gets it to center ice, and number 22, Charlie Huddy, has it for Edmonton. Huddy to Glenn Anderson, who clears it into the Boston zone. Here's Ken Linsman, the former Oiler, to Mike Milbury. Milbury to O'Reilly. He's ridden out by Messier. Messier couldn't clear it, but now Willie Lindstrom does. Speed Messier. Broken up by O'Connell and shot to center. Randy Gregg has it there. Into Lindstrom. Bourque bumps in. Lindstrom centered, but Mike O'Connell cleared it away for the Bruins. Held in by Edmonton. Now knocked by Bourque to center ice. And Messier, number 11, circles back. Joe Anderson. Now to Lindstrom, ahead to Anderson. Puck taken by Kenny Linsman. Linsman checked by Messier, but got it to Crowder into the center ice area. And here's Charlie Simmer. Number 23, Simmer, loose in front, cleared away. Now Linsman to Simmer, back to Linsman. Broken up, and Simonetti, number 21, pinches in. to Linsman. Linsman trying to center, knocked away by Fuhr. Messier can't clear it. Here's Charlie Simmer. Got it in front. The Oilers clear it. Not out, however. Crowder to Linsman. Back to Crowder, and that shot went off Fuhr's stick just wide, and finally the Oilers clear it out of there. Now the Bruins know how to forecheck still.
Well, they were giving Randy Gregg and Don Jackson some problems. Gregg and Jackson have not played the greatest this season as a pair back in the blue line for the Oilers.
Puck cleared down the ice. Keens plays it. Shoots it on the boards. Lowe trying to hold it in. Now Mark Napier. But Simonetti, the rookie, beats Rick Middleton. Number 16, Middleton, trying to center, but Lee Fogelin breaks it up. Quick pass to Dave Semenko. 2-on-1 break, but the only man back, Matt Stalin, the rookie, broke it up as he poked it away. And now the Oilers with Mark Napier flipping one onto the boards for Billy Carroll. Back to Napier. He is tied up and checked in the play, but Carroll steals it from Reed. There's Carroll moving in. Centers it back. Napier moving in. Keens a save. He looked in behind him, but it made the save. He had no idea where that puck was.
He looked to the official, Ron Fournier, to say, why didn't you blow the whistle? Well, for good reason Fournier didn't blow the whistle.
I think Keens was claiming that Semenko had upended him. That's maybe why he was hollering at the referee, Fournier. Here's Hunter shooting it in. That's Stalin, who broke up that 2-on-1 moments ago, trying to clear it. Coffey held it in with a quick shot that's wide. Bounces off the boards, and number 22, Huddy, goes back to pick it up for the Oilers. To Paul Coffey. Coffey over onto the right wing boards to Hughes. He's checked by Morris Lukowicz. Now Huddy trying to get it out of the zone, held in by Lukowicz to Louis Slager. He's checked. Huddy again knocking it on the boards. And finally the Oilers come up ice, led by Hughes to Coffey with a shot. Keens may have just got the tip of his goal stick on it. Now Boston trying to move up ice, but it was broken up, and then the play is offside at the Boston blue line. For our local systems, we'll pause here. Only the third player in NHL history to break that mark.
Gretzky just feeds that pass back, a backhand pass at that, but look at Jari Kurri. He had lots of time here to wind up and just blast that puck. Keens got a piece of it, but not enough of it. There you can see very well that Jari Kurri was left unguarded. You cannot leave Jari Kurri alone.
He is now the highest scoring right winger in hockey history in 1 year. Here's the chance for Courtnall. And a save by Fuhr on the play. Now Gretzky for Edmonton to Krushelnyski. Krushelnyski firing it in. Keens out of the net to clear it onto the boards. Held in by Randy Gregg. Now it comes to Krushelnyski to Kurri in front. Back to Krushelnyski, his shot blocked. And it comes to center ice. Randy Gregg has it there. Giving it to Krushelnyski. Trying to flip it in. Broken up, and Bourque flips it ahead to Courtnall. Jackson knocking that down, and now Randy Gregg for Jackson as the Oilers lead 1-0. The scoring play as Kurri drops it back was Kurri, his 70th of the year from Gretzky and Gregg. 5:49 the time. And for Kurri, 70 goals, the most ever by a right winger in the NHL, and only the third player in history to reach the 70-goal mark. Back comes Courtnall. Long shot, Fuhr steered it away. O'Reilly centering one. Knocked away by Edmonton, and Milbury is back to get it. Over to Courtnall, and as he flipped it in, the play is offside at the Edmonton blue line. Jari Kurri has scored his 70th goal of the year, and Edmonton leads here at the hockey player, Jari Kurri.
Well, he really doesn't get all of the attention from the press and media that he deserves, Dan, but I think this record that he has now broken and set will get him a lot more attention. Jari Kurri, a fantastic right winger.
Here's Willie Lindstrom getting it into the Boston zone. Round on the boards. Comes to Keith Crowder, number 18. He shot it into the Edmonton zone, and Kevin Lowe, number 4, goes back to get it. Shot it to Lindstrom. He's checked. Here's Milbury. Centers one. Comes to Tallinn. A shot. Messier blocked it, and then Messier, flat on the ice, was able to knock it with one hand all the way down the rink. Here's Glenn Anderson carrying in, but Lindstrom was trapped in there offside at the Boston blue line.
Oh, as you look at Mike Milbury, Mark Messier had really made a tremendous block on Tallinn. Milbury, who I think Harry Sinden has kind of put the ropes on a little bit. The last few games that we have seen Boston play, Milbury has not rushed up the ice as much. He has stayed back and played much more defensively. And I think that that is an excellent idea. Milbury, good in his own end zone. Let Bourque do the rushing.
By the way, Gretzky's assist on that goal by Curry is 125 in the year for Gretzky, which ties his all-time record for assists in a single season. Here's Middleton centering to Reed. Skate save by Fuhr on the close-in shot by Reed. Now Coffey clearing it, and Billy Carroll flips it out on right wing. Middleton knocking it down. Here is Reed, number 36 for Boston. Dave Reed, rookie from the Peterborough Petes, couldn't get anywhere. Now Napier giving it over to Semenko. He's checked, and Butch Goring feeds Rick Middleton. Middleton to Bourque. Bourque unable to center, now drops to Middleton. Quick wrist shot, and Grant Fuhr a glove save on that, and he held on to it. Fuhr on a shot by Dave Reed. Here is Louis Slager clearing it in behind the goal. Now trying to center it out in front is Lukowicz. Puck comes to Slager. Slager off the boards, but Jackson is there for Edmonton to intercept and clear to Dave Hunter at center, who just shoots it down the ice. Dean's out of the goal to clear it to Slager. He's pinned in against the boards, and now four-man jam up there. Puck still loose. Slager finally comes up with it and beats Lukowicz, number 12. The Bruins just dump it in. This is the game the Bruins, particularly on home ice, like to play. They dump it in and then come in and forecheck, but the Oilers clear it right back out, and Milbury is there to get it, passing to Lukowicz. Ahead to Tom Fergus. Fergus drops to O'Connell. Fuhr, good save with his chest on a rising shot. And the Oilers clear it to center. O'Connell firing it back in, and he put it up very high off a stick up into the crowd here at Boston Garden.
Grant Fuhr caught that last shot by Mike O'Connell rather high. Fuhr has got excellent quickness, especially with his ability to go down and get right back up. He's got good reflexes. In the island the other night, Dan, Grant Fuhr let in 3 bad first period goals, and Glenn Sather left him in, and he dug himself out of it, though he played great in the third period. There's that high shot by O'Connell. You can see that Fuhr had to jump about a foot off of the ice in order to make the save. I'm not so sure that it wouldn't have gone right over the net anyway.
I think he was jumping so it wouldn't hit him in the face as much as anything else. This is Fuhr, by the way, 7th consecutive start in the Edmonton goal. Here's Krushelnyski, number 26, to Kevin Lowe, and the Oilers dump it in. Matt Stalin has it for Boston to O'Reilly, and he just slides the puck near the Edmonton line. Lee Fogelin clearing it to center ice and down into the Boston zone again. Number 33, Blum, is back to pick it up. Blum flipping one to center. The Oilers could have played it. There'll be no icing on this call as Kevin Lowe now feeds Krushelnyski. The Oilers with their big line of Gretzky, Curry, and Krushelnyski. Krushelnyski's drop pass to Curry, broken up, and O'Reilly feeds Casper, and he's upended by Fogelin on a check near the Edmonton blue line. Puck shot to center, and Casper, who always draws the task of checking Gretzky, gets it into O'Reilly. O'Reilly now to Courtnall behind the net. He can't get it in front. Fogelin clears to Yeri Curry, and Curry takes a hit but was able to shoot it to center ice. Bruins fire it right back in. Comes to Curry again. He's checked by Courtnall, but now Kevin Lowe played it off the boards. Anderson lets it go, and it goes all the way down the ice. They roll. Boston could have played it, so there'll be no icing. And now we're also going to get a penalty on the play as Ron Bernier will send Blum to the penalty box. From Boston Garden, you're watching USA.
Elbowing penalty, I should say charging penalty. He took a run at Glenn Anderson right along the right wing boards in the Edmonton end zone.
Edmonton with a 1-0 lead, and now on the power play, but immediately Bourque clears it down the ice. The Oilers have to go back. Huddy controlling. Edmonton on the power play. Second best percentage in the league. Here's Messier. Number 11, Messier to Coffey. He fanned on it, and Middleton gets it to Butch Goring. and then Goring cleared it down the ice. Edmonton's second best power play percentage in the league, 24.7. They've scored 67 goals. Here's Messier. Got it to the Bruin line. Middleton breaks it up to Goring. Goring has a break, but he'll be offside as soon as he played the puck because the pass had come from inside the Boston blue line.
Harry Sinden behind the bench for the Boston Bruins. Harry's been there a number of times in his years with the Bruins. I think that when you look at Sinden right now, all he is attempting to do is get the Bruins playing the way that the Bruins have played in the past. And as Dan had mentioned earlier, the dump and chase there is a two-line offside that was occurring. Middleton feeding Goring, but a pass over two lines offside coming back into the Bruins end zone.
I mentioned Edmonton's second best power play percentage. The Bruins are no slouches at killing them off. They're fourth best in the league. Here is a pass to Huddy. Shot. Keane's the save. Goring cleared it. Now Curry with Gretzky, and Milbury took them both out. Milbury now kicks it, and it comes to Curry. Back to Huddy. Return to Curry, but the 35-year-old veteran Goring was there to break it up. Copy for Edmonton. Passing to Gretzky, leaving it for Curry. Middleton knocked it back outside the line. And now the Oilers' Curry drops it into his own end of the rink, and Copy goes back to get it. This pass to number 17, Curry, who has scored the only goal of this game. This pass to Copy. Now to Gretzky. Off the boards for Curry, but O'Reilly able to clear it to center, and here's Linsman. Kenny Linsman moving in. Gretzky tied him up. Linsman still after it, centered one, and Gregg intercepts. 18 seconds left in the Blum penalty for Boston, and now Bourque breaks the play up at the Boston blue line. Look at him come out of there. Bourque just back in the Bruin lineup after a 4-game absence, and he makes a difference. Centered one, but Napier intercepts, and now Blum is back on. And the penalty has expired, and just as that does, now actually Blum has 1 second left. Now we're going to have another penalty for our local system.
Grant Fuhr's slashing penalty. That was behind the play that Fuhr got that slashing penalty.
13:08 to time, and just as the puck is dropped, now Blum comes back on, and so Boston, because of the Fuhr penalty, on a power play. Dave Hunter clearing it into the Boston zone, and O'Connell back to pick it up. Now Charlie Simmer, number 23, around on the boards to Bourque. Bourque couldn't get it out. Hughes held it into Lowe, shooting at a stick save by Keane. Matt Stalin has it for Boston. The Bruins with the man advantage. Here is Simmer. Got the center to Bourque. Now over onto the wing to Crowder. Into Fergus, number 28. He's checked. The puck goes to the opposite corner. Hughes over to get it. Band on it. Simmer now dropping it back. They get it to O'Connell at the point. Shooting. Fuhr the save on that. The rebound taken by Edmonton, and Kevin Lowe clears it out of there.
Bruins taking time to set up. They have not had a very good power play. That has been a real sore spot with the Bruins. Only 17th best in the NHL, 20.6 percentage.
You'd think that Ray Bourque alone would move him into the top half of the league because of his excellent point play.
Grant Fuhr, the Bruins have not yet been able to beat him. Mike O'Connell doing some blasting away from the point, as he has done a few times in this first period. The Bruins clogging up the area in front of Fuhr.
55 seconds still left in the Fuhr penalty, which is being served by Mark Napier. The Oilers clear it to center ice, and here is Bourque over to O'Connell. He dumps it in. Cleared by Huddy, but right onto Linsman's stick. Linsman in front to Middleton. Centered across. They score! Number 36, Dave Reed, deflects it in.
That's Dave Reed's 13th goal of the season, and it came at an appropriate time here on the power play. Watch, Middleton just nicely feeds the pass over to Reed. All Reed has to do is just get a stick on, because Fuhr was watching Middleton. Linsman, number 13, makes the original pass across to Middleton, who lost it in his feet. He knew he was at a bad angle, so instead he just throws it back across the ice. Number 36, Dave Reed scores.
His 13th of the year, 14:32 of the time. Middleton gets 1 assist. And I think Linsman will get 1 as well, but they announced just the 1 to Middleton. And now Linsman also in the play because he certainly centered it. So it's tied 1-1, a power play goal by Reed. The penalty to Pure proving costly. Edmonton trying to move in. Krushelnyski checked by number 21, Simonetti. He lost it to Curry. Gary Curry taken out by Simonetti, and now O'Reilly feeding it to Casper. Into the center ice to Courtnall. Back to Casper. 2-on-1 break to Courtnall. Big defensive play by Jackson to break it up, and he'll get a penalty on the play. But he may have saved a goal, as Don Jackson will now get a penalty. From the coach might be happy with the way he got caught, but he'd not be unhappy with him taking the penalty because it may have saved a goal. 1-1 the score with Curry's for the Oilers, and now Reed has tied it on a power play from Middleton and Linsman. Here are the Bruins again. Back to the point. Bork shoots one. That's deflected in front of the net. Now Reed trying to center it. Tipped away by Lowe. And Ray Bork has to go back and pick it up. To Rick Middleton. Now ahead to Goring. Trying to center to Reed. Good defensive play by Lowe. Now Goring gets it in front. Cleared away by Hunter, but held in by Bork. Now Lowe again gets it for Edmonton and clears to center. Here's Bork to Reed. He drops it to Bork. Over to Goring. Goring trying to go around Lowe. Lowe tipped it away, and Fogelin has the puck. Fogelin gets it to Lowe. Now to Hunter. Lead pass to Hughes. O'Connell back, and Hughes got away a shot. Keens came out and made the save, and the Bruins start back. Here's Goring. Dropping one for Reed. He's checked. O'Connell gets it. Drops it to Bork. That shot high off the glass. And here's Coffey coming out of his own zone for the Oilers. Number 7, Coffey. Centers it to Curry. Curry in front to Gretzky. And O'Connell checked him. Now Gretzky centered. Keens a save as first O'Connell and then Keens stopped the great number 99. Back is Linsman. Trying to center. Comes to Blum at the point. That shot off a stick and up into the crowd. You don't think that Wayne Gretzky is dangerous when he's shorthanded or the Oilers are shorthanded? You just saw it. Jim Houston, take it away in the studio.
Great action here in the first period. The Boston Bruins and the Edmonton Oilers. Coming up in our first intermission, I'll speak with the newest member of the Oilers, 27-year-old Mark Napier, who is a former Montreal Canadian and Minnesota North Star, now a member of the Oilers, as Glenn Sather didn't want to stand pat with the team that won the Stanley Cup championship last year. Gary and I will also look at news in the NHL. That includes the Player of the Week, which this week is a Toronto Maple Leaf. Now back to action with Gary and Dan.
Okay, Jim. Puck cleared by the Oilers, and it flipped up over the boards right at the Edmonton players bench, and we'll get a face-off with 3:06 left in the period and 24 seconds left in the Edmonton penalty to Don Jackson.
You were mentioning this man and how dangerous he is when even they are killing a penalty. This Oilers team still leading the NHL. Shorthanded goals, 24 so far this year. They scored 36 last season.
Gretzky has 11 of those shorthanded goals, and had he scored on that earlier play against Keens, he would have tied his own NHL record of 12. Face-off coming up at the Edmonton line. Now Gretzky winning the draw. It comes to Fergus. Fergus at his own blue line, clearing one over for Tallene. Now to Crowder. Keith Crowder dropping it to Tallene. That shot went up and hit Charlie Huddy in the face area, and he's down on the ice and injured.
I think when Keith Crowder took a poke at that puck, he did not realize that Charlie Huddy had caught that puck, I think, right in the face, but no cut to Huddy's face, so apparently it may have hit but not done any damage. Charlie Huddy, who has been one of the most consistent performers back in the blue line for the Oilers this year, has had a good season.
Anytime you talk to the Edmonton people, they say he and Lee Fogelin have been the models of consistency all season on that Edmonton defense.
No question. And Charlie Huddy, I still recall the days in junior hockey when he played for the Oshawa Generals in Ontario, and no one thought that he would ever make it. But just through hard work and persistency, Charlie Huddy has indeed made it and has a Stanley Cup ring.
Puck is controlled as Jackson comes out of the penalty box. The Oilers, Gretzky moving it to Jackson. Broken up, and Blum knocks it away to center ice. Here's Fogelin to Kevin Lowe. Off the boards to Messier. Trying to clear it in, but Fergus intercepts, and here's Louis Slager, number 25. Slager into the corner for Morris Lukowicz. Messier tying him up. Centered. Oh, Fergus with a snapshot over top of the net. They score! Slager came from behind the net. And the Bruins take the lead. Fergus had just missed, but Slager scores on the second try, and Boston has the lead. Well, Tom Fergus from the slot really let go a rocket as a snapshot went up high. Came to Slager behind the net, and he went sneaking out in front and put it in before Fuhr really had a chance to react. There you see the original shot high, and then Slager from behind the net. He's able to just stuff it in underneath Fuhr, and Boston has the lead. Puck is cleared in. The Bruins center again. McClellan breaks it up. Number 24, McClellan. Long shot well wide of the Boston goal. Rick Middleton knocks it back of his own net to Milbury. He cleared to Reed. Couldn't get it out of there. Hughes holding it in. Now Simonetti for Boston takes a hit from McClellan, but it got it to center. 2-1, Boston leading. Here's Butch Goring into Middleton. Hunter took him out of the play, and Jackson controls for Edmonton. This pass to Hughes. That Boston scoring play. Slager his 11th of the year. Fergus and Lukowicz the assists. 17:47 the time. Here's Reed to Middleton. He scores! Rick Middleton! Well, the element of surprise, a factor there, as Middleton really seemed to catch Fuhr on his heels. He moved in and let the quick wrist shot go, and Fuhr just simply didn't seem ready for it. Now, the fact that he put it through that defenseman's legs would not have helped Fuhr's cause, as he put it right through the legs of Paul Coffey, and quickly it's 3-1 Boston. Remember, the Oilers had jumped in front 1-0. Here's Bourque back to get it for the Bruins. To Courtnall, number 32, to Terry O'Reilly. Coffey is there. Paul Coffey to Curry. Curry to Gretzky as we move into the final minute of the first period. Keane's behind the net trying to shoot it out. Courtnall got it by Huddy, but Curry held it in. To Gretzky, he missed it behind the net, and O'Connell now clears to O'Reilly. Shot near the Edmonton line, and Paul Coffey gives it to Curry. Curry drops to Coffey. 40 seconds left in the period. Here's Huddy banking it off the boards to Curry. He's checked, and O'Reilly comes back for Boston. Terry O'Reilly's shot. That hit Huddy. O'Reilly again. Trying to center. Gretzky gets it. Gretzky's pass intercepted by Courtnall. His shot went off Huddy. Now Courtnall behind the goal. And finally, Jackson carries out, or Krushelnyski it is, for Edmonton. Play is offside at the Bruin line, but not called because of delayed offside. Now Courtnall holding it in the Edmonton zone, but Curry comes back up the ice for Edmonton, and the period ends. Curry let his shot go anyway, but the period had come to an end. And as Curry let the shot go, he seemed to injure himself a little, and he's shaken up, and now a couple of the Oilers and Bruins argue at the end of the period. Curry, meanwhile, is doubled up as he heads for the Edmonton locker room. I don't know if he injured himself when he let that shot go or not. Well, the Bruins, who have dominated Edmonton here at Boston Garden over the years, lead this game after one period, 3-1. Coming up in our intermission, Mark Napier, one of the newest members of the Edmonton Oilers, coming to Edmonton earlier this year in a trade from the Minnesota North Stars. After one period, Boston 3, Edmonton 1. Jim Houston in our intermission coming.
3-1 lead after the first period at Boston Garden over the Stanley Cup champion Edmonton Oilers. To win a championship is one thing, to repeat as champions is yet another. Glenn Sather knows it's not easy, and so hasn't stood pat with his hockey team. He's added players, including our first intermission guest, Mark Napier, who moved over from the Minnesota North Stars. And I wonder, first of all, about this game, whether this building suits the Edmonton Oilers' style of play or any team that likes to skate.
Well, we had to change our system a little bit. You really, we're, I guess, known as a freewheeling team, and in this building, it's a little tough. And playing against the Bruins, the way they check, it's tough to play freewheeling style. So you have to dump the puck in a little more than what we normally do. But that's certainly, no excuse.
Now, you could have had any number of notions of what the Edmonton Oilers might be like, but you really wouldn't know until you joined them. What sort of impressions do you have of the Oilers, having been here for almost 30 games?
Well, I guess if you don't know the team, you think of them as pretty cocky bunch and self-centered and self-sure. But since I've been here, it's been nothing but that. They're confident bunch. They certainly don't like to lose, and we. But I don't think we're cocky. I think they talk about the first time they played the Islanders in the Stanley Cup Finals. I think they learned a lesson. They were a little cocky going in there, and they've toned that down a little bit. But they're, I guess, quietly confident would be the word that the team is.
In 1979, maybe it was a similar circumstance. You went to the Montreal Canadiens. They were the cream of the crop, the best team in the league, had just won 3 championships and had the superstar in Guy Lafleur. Now in 1985, you join the Edmonton Oilers, the cream of the crop, and they have Wayne Gretzky, the best player in the league. I wonder if there's any parallels to be drawn there, and what sort of respect, different kinds of respect these teams get. Do the Oilers get more reverence than the Canadiens had at that time?
I don't. I think it's pretty close. When I went to the Canadiens, like you say, it was 3 in a row, and I was fortunate enough my first year to be on the 4 Stanley Cup team, and a lot of teams would really gear up for you to try and beat Montreal, and I see the same now with the Oilers. It's I'm sure the Islanders went through when they won 4 straight, that any team would like to knock off the defending Stanley Cup champions. It certainly helps them and gives them confidence if they think that they can beat the best in the league.
Mark, you were in Minnesota, where the North Stars have struggled for most of the season. Now you move over to the Edmonton Oilers. I wonder how you handle the criticism that the Oilers are in the middle of a slump.
Well, when I first got there, we won, I think, about 8 or 9 in a row, so it made it pretty easy to adjust. And then we did go to a so-called slump. We weren't playing well. We weren't, really moving the puck the way we can, and weren't skating that well. But I think we played a real good game the last game against the Islanders, and hopefully it's turned around. I thought it didn't have too bad a period out there the first period today, but you look at the score and we're down 3-1.
Have people come to expect too much from this team? Is a 500 record not good enough for a team that's usually better than that?
Well, I like to say it's you can't win a game 3-2 anymore. They wonder why you're not scoring goals or why you only won 3-2. And I guess when you're, we had the same thing in Montreal with the press. They, would wonder why you didn't blow a team out every game. And it just doesn't work like that anymore. There's just too much parity in the league. And, just our division with the way Winnipeg's playing now and Calgary and Los Angeles, there's tough games almost every time you go out.
And probably another tough one. In fact, we're sure there's going to be another tough one here tonight. Good luck the rest of the way, and as an Oiler, Mark.
Thank you, Jim.
Mark Napier has been our guest, and for being our guest, Loris Quartz Watches and Clocks would like you to have a handsome Quartz World Travel Alarm Clock. Mark Napier is one of the newest shooters on the Edmonton Oilers. A look back at some Edmonton Oilers history. Hard to believe, but on the 17th of January 1980, the Oilers set a team record for fewest shots on goal in a game, 12. It was against these same Boston Bruins as the Oilers went down to a 7-1 defeat that night. But things have changed. Now on a good shift, Gretzky and company get 12 shots in one shift some nights. At least it seems that way to opposition players. Gary Green and I will back assist given a goaltender 18 years after the NHL was first formed. Thompson was also one of the goaltenders of that time who wore a cap due to the cold rinks back in the early days of the league. The only caps you'll find in the NHL right now reside in
Boston, and the Bruins outshot the Oilers 10-6 in that period. Meanwhile, the second period gets underway, and Andy Moog has taken over in goal for Edmonton. So Moog replaces Fuhr. Here as the second period gets underway. Number 2 is Lee Fogelin for Edmonton. Getting it across the line. McClellan had it for the moment. He's checked, and now Middleton comes back for Boston. Rick Middleton shoots one wide of the target. Here's Reed flipping it into the corner. Reed jams up. Now the Oilers get it free, and away they come as McClellan shot it into the center ice area. Knocked down by Blum, cleared back in. Here's Reed carrying in, but the play is offside at the Edmonton blue line. Andy Moog is in the Edmonton goal. He takes over lineup after being sidelined for some time with jammed knees. And he takes over here to begin the second period. 3-1 in favor of Boston. The Bruins have dominated the games here at Boston Garden against Edmonton over the years. 7-1-1 in the 9 previous meetings, and Edmonton's only win in Boston Garden came earlier this year. Here the Bruins. Courtnall tried to clear it in, knocked away, and back comes Krushelnyski feeding Curry. Back checking was O'Reilly, and cleared to center. Coffey has it there to Charlie Huddy. Huddy fired it in, but Mike Milbury has it for Boston. Now to Casper. To Terry O'Reilly, to Courtnall, trying to get through. Huddy tied him up. Bolden cleared it away. Here's O'Reilly. In front to Casper, and then Courtnall shot it wide. Center. O'Reilly fanned on that. Courtnall on the boards with Huddy fighting for it. Courtnall comes up with it. Back to a point to O'Connell. That shot blocked, and Gretzky breaks away. O'Connell able to knock it away from number 99. And Milbury in the corner being hounded by Curry, but he got it loose to Courtnall. And number 32, Jeff Courtnall, shoots it to the Edmonton end of the ring. Paul Coffey being forechecked by O'Reilly. Able to flip it into the Boston zone. And Keens leaves it for Simonetti, who feeds O'Reilly at center. O'Reilly to Courtnall, now to Linsman, but Messier came back to break it up. Messier behind his own goal to Lindstrom. Lindstrom shooting it to the Boston line. Number 21, Simonetti to Bork. Now to Keith Crowder. Into Linsman. Offside is the play at the Edmonton Oiler blue line as Keith Crowder had fallen to the ice. Gets up slowly.
You heard Mark Napier say that the Oilers really have to change their game plan a little bit when they come into this building. And looking at Keith Crowder, you know why. Keith Crowder, as well as many of the other Bruins, very aggressive, good along the boards, and they block up their own end zone fairly well, making it difficult for the Oilers to do a lot of skating. Right here, you will see exactly that. The Oilers trying to skate. Pretty good coverage there by Mike O'Connell, who, an excellent skater himself, was able to get back with the play.
Here is Semenko moving in for Edmonton, and a save by Keens as Keens came out nicely and cut down the angle. Puck shot down the ice. Gregg feeds Mark Napier. Napier can't clear it. Here's Keith Crowder. Now Bork into the corner. Simmer taken out by Bill Carroll. And Carroll flips it over onto the left wing side. Simonetti had moved in. Now Carroll getting it again. Can't clear it. The Oilers finally do. Semenko shooting to center, and Bork has it there. Now Gregg will try for Edmonton. He's checked. Simonetti clears it back. Linsman knocked off the puck by Jackson's body check. And Bill Carroll, number 20, to Randy Gregg. Gregg flips it in. Simonetti shoots it right back out, but as soon as he touched it, the play was called and an icing call. From Maine to Maui, Andy Moog was going to freeze it, changed his mind. Here's Talene to Casper. Big save there by Moog on Casper from the slot. And now the Oilers break out. Here's Coffey trying to go around Talene, drops it to Hunter. Hunter a shot, and Keens a big save. And now O'Connell and Hunter get into it. And now Coffey and Keens jab at each other, and here they go. Paul Coffey and Doug Keens, the goaltender. Now Keens goes back into his goal crease.
Keens, a feisty goaltender. He showed that for sure. Mike O'Connell coming in and helping out on the play. Hunter, who got a little piece of Keene's as he was going in. Keene's took objection to that. Ended up in a little bit of a sparring match with not only Hunter, but also Paul Coffey right after that.
We're going to have penalties. Ron Fournier over to the penalty box. The score here early in the...
You can see Hunter taking that original shot. Keenes holds it. Now Hunter goes in for the little extra jab, and that is when Keenes got upset. O'Connell comes in, and he helps his goaltender out. Well, then Paul Coffey started it behind the net. Now watch Keenes. He goes right in after Coffey. He was looking for a fight.
Roughing penalties against Coffey and Keenes. 4:19 the time. And it is each team a man short. Here's the loose puck controlled by Bourque. The Bruins with the lead in this game at 3-1. Rick Middleton, number 16. Trying to go around Greg. Greg tied him up. Now Glenn Anderson tries to clear it. Middleton behind the net to Goring. Greg pinned him against the boards, and number 29, Jackson, headmans it into the center ice area for Glenn Anderson. Long shot, wide of the goal. Blum back to get it. Can't control it as the Edmonton player came in behind and tried to steal it, and then Blum and the Oiler player Mark Messier fell on top of the puck.
Well, that's interesting. Blum falling on top of Messier. Those two did not exchange any words, but they have exchanged pleasant words in the past. John Blum happens to have married Mark Messier's sister, so two related players playing in a tough, aggressive battle here tonight at Boston Garden.
A meeting of the brother-in-laws behind the net will be the title of my next book. And my first. Here's Bourque. Over onto the wing to the rookie Simonetti. Back to Bourque. Feeding one ahead to Reed, who has scored one of the Boston goals. Jackson back for Edmonton. Bourque held it in. Into Reed. It's centered, comes to Simonetti. He elected to feed it behind the goal to Fergus. Fergus then taken out of the play by Jackson, and that allowed Messier to get the puck. He almost lost it to Fergus. Here's Greg, and you see the Bruins in there doing their forechecking. This is their game style. Here's Fergus. Drops to Simonetti. Shooting stick save by Moog. Anderson gets it. Turns and starts to come out of there. Number 9, Glenn Anderson. Into the Boston zone, but Messier was in ahead of the play. Offside at the Boston blue line.
We talked about Paul Coffey earlier. Raymond Bourque, very similar styles. Tremendous shot and a tremendous skater. The real quarterback for the Bruins. He has been the most consistent performer for the Bruins in this a very trying season for the Bruins club. Now, we talked about some of the aggressive checking, back checking, forechecking that the Bruins can do. When they're playing their game and they're skating, they make it tough for any team. And the Oilers, as you could see, Glenn Anderson, number 9, trying to get some skating room, just was not given it.
Lukowicz is serving the penalty to Keenes, by the way, and they all have 20 seconds left. Coffey is off for Edmonton, and Lukowicz serving Keenes penalty for Boston. 4 against 4. Here's Curry. Looks for Gretzky, instead trying to give it to Lowe. Now Lowe loses to Courtnall. Into the corner, Gretzky gets it. Drops to Lowe, penalized players back on, shot right on. Rebound comes to Coffey just out of the penalty box. Finally got away a backhander, and the save made. Gretzky centered. Casper was there to knock it away. There's Courtnall clearing into the center ice area. Lowe over to Curry, and now back to Kevin Lowe, who falls down, but able to recover. Courtnall stealing it. Centered, O'Reilly shot, and Moog makes the save, and Gretzky takes over. O'Reilly checked him. Edmonton having difficulty against this Boston forechecking. Now they get it to Curry, who drops it to Lowe. Back to number 17, Curry. Now Krushelnyski. Milbury right him out of the play. Comes to Gretzky. Puck centered. O'Connell knocked it away. And now we're going to get a penalty on the play against the Bruins. High sticking will be the call. For our local systems, we'll pause here. It's the NHL. On
up the stick is up as well, and watch, he comes around and gives Krushelnyski the second elbow and then a stick. Welcome back to the Garden, Mike.
I thought the signal had been for high sticking, but it's announced elbowing. Here's Napier moving in. His shot blocked by Tallene, and the Bruins work it to Middleton. Rick Middleton trying to go around Huddy. Huddy gets the puck to Messier. Mark Messier couldn't get out of his own zone, and now Coffey has it as Middleton was upended. The fans holler about that. Here's Anderson for Edmonton. Glenn Anderson, backhander, Keens to save, and he's able to smother it after a good backhand try by number 9, Glenn Anderson.
After Keens made that save, he looked behind the net. I think the reason he was looking was because Anderson had given him a shot with that stick after he had made the save. Now watch, Anderson puts a nice move here. He goes to his backhand. Now as he's going around behind the net, just one in case that puck may have been laying in the top of Keens' pads. That it wasn't. Glenn Anderson tried at least.
Here's Coffey over to Huddy, shooting. Keens to save on Huddy's shot. Middleton tries to clear it. Huddy held it in. Puck into the corner, but Ray Bourque gets it for Boston. Trying to shoot it out of there. Here's Anderson to the side of the net to Napier. Mark Napier on this power play. Given a rough ride by Bourque. It's centered to Huddy. To Coffey, a drive off the glass, and that had everybody ducking. And now in front of the goal, Messier will get a penalty as he got involved with Matt Tallene, and Messier will get a slashing penalty.
Matt Tallene had pulled Messier's feet right out from underneath of him and sent him sprawling. Messier didn't like that too much. Tallene was really watching referee Ron Fournier closely. Was not over aggressive with Messier, but just was picking his spots. Messier not too pleased at that call. Give Tallene credit though, he played it very smartly.
Messier with 22 goals this year in the 49 games he's played. Not the usual type of year for Messier, but they tell me because of injuries that's been a factor, but in recent weeks he's been coming on very strong. You've seen him, Gary.
He's really been flying, Dan, and flying as only Mark Messier can. Very difficult man to move off that puck. He gets those legs spread and he can really motor. Excellent shot. And of course, we cannot forget his performance last year in the Stanley Cup playoffs.
He won the Conn Smythe Trophy as the most valuable playoff member of the Stanley Cup Oilers. The charge was slashing, 8-11 the time. Each team a man short. Here are the Oilers led by Curry. He fires it in. Jackson pinching in, flips it to the corner. Casper getting it for Boston. Over onto the boards for Slager. Louis Slager couldn't get by Randy Gregg. Into the corner. Gretzky had it bounce away from him. And Tallene for Boston feeds Casper. Casper couldn't get by Jackson, but Blum is there. He cleared it, and Jackson knocked it back in with his hand offside at the Boston Bruin blue line.
I mentioned earlier in the first period that Don Jackson and Randy Gregg, who seem to have been inseparable as far as defense partners go, have not played as well this year. Randy Gregg has had some injuries, a knee injury especially, that has really bothered him throughout the course of the season. And Don Jackson, I think Jackson is the type of player that needs a good, solid, healthy partner along with him to get him out of trouble at times. Jackson gives it his most, but really is not the most mobile defenseman by any stretch of the imagination out there.
Here's Bourque for Boston. Each team still a man short. Now Crowder to Linsman. Linsman shoots, he scores! Kenny Linsman.
Good shot by Linsman. Mo gave him a little bit of room just underneath that glove. And you will see Linsman take advantage of it. Linsman right from the top of the circle. There's the shot just underneath of Moog's glove. I don't think you can say much more about that shot by Linsman other than that it was destined for the right place. Moog was out cutting down the angle. Moog has missed the last 9 games because of a collision that he had versus the Los Angeles Kings with one of their players March the 1st, and so he incurred jammed knees from it. This is his first appearance back.
Kenny Linsman's 25th goal of the year, and it's 4-1 Boston. Now the Bruins on a power play because their penalized player is back on, but Messier's still up. There's Hunter upending O'Connell. Fans thought that the Oilers should have had a penalty there, low into his own zone, clearing to Hunter. Hunter, number 12, waits for some help. Now loses it. And Linsman kicks the puck back to his own blue line to Bourque. The number 20, Mike O'Connell, back to Ray Bourque. Ahead to Charlie Simmer. He leaves it for Linsman. In front, that hits Simmer, and then is kicked away by Lowe. Linsman to O'Connell, back to Linsman. Behind to Simmer, he missed it. And the Oilers got it, and it's shot down the ice by Hughes. 8 seconds left in the penalty. To Messier. Here's Crowder. To Simmer. Huddy riding Simmer up. And then Huddy fell and fell right on top of the puck just as the penalty to Messier expires. So Edmonton has killed it off, but they're behind in this game. 4-1 to the Boston Bruins.
You look at Charlie Simmer, who mentioned earlier in the first period has been playing with Linsman and Crowder pretty consistently. Simmer so far has scored 33 goals this season for the Boston Bruins, so Charlie is getting back in his ways of being able to put that puck in the net. Glenn Sather behind the Oilers bench, not too pleased right now with his club's performance, down 4-1 here.
The scoring play was Linsman from Bourque and Crowder. 9:03 the time. It was an excellent pass by Crowder that put Linsman into the Edmonton zone. Now Keen's out of the net to clear it around on the boards. Huddy holding it in. A centering pass comes right back to Huddy. Couldn't get the shot off. Milbury failed to clear it. Blum couldn't get it out. Now Blum gets it again. Knocked down by Carroll. Milbury will try and get it out. And here he is. Butch Goring breaking to center. Over to Middleton. Back to Goring. And he deflected it just wide. Goring looked like he had a sure goal. Maybe he looked a little too casual and put it wide to the open side. Oilers come back. Carroll is stopped by Keens. And then the Bruins clear it to center. Here's Coppy to Krushelnyski. Shot behind the goal. Keens out of the net. Carroll took a bump at him. Vogelin holding it into Napier. Goring couldn't get it out. It's centered. Carroll shoots. He scores! Billy Carroll. That red light was late in coming on, but Carroll deflected it in. And Edmonton cut the Boston lead to 4-2.
You could see where that puck was positioned. It didn't get any further than that. But that's all that it had to go, was just a few inches over that goal line. Now watch. And you can see where the Bruins had a little bit of problems here. Not good coverage on Billy Carroll. Number 33, John Blum, just had a piece of stick on Carroll that was not good enough. Napier was able to get that pass over. Carroll just got enough of that puck that it, first of all, hit Keens and then dribbled across that goal line.
So Bill Carroll, the former Islander, scoring for Edmonton. Only his 8th goal of the year, but it cuts the Boston lead to 4-2. Matt Stalin trying to clear it, intercepted by Semenko. He put it in front of the net. Comes to the point, and Courtnall then knocked it out to center for Boston. Here's Courtnall moving in. Casper was in ahead of the play, offside at the Edmonton line. And that could give Edmonton some life, Gary.
Well, they were having troubles, Dan, in the Bruins end zone, just getting possession of the puck and doing something with it.
There's O'Connell's shot stopped by Moog. And then as the puck was cleared, play is called in front of the net. Courtnall and Vogelin were into something, and Bernier will send somebody to the penalty box. It's going to be Vogelin and Courtnall. We'll be right back on USA.
The National Hockey League Complete Player and Team Record Guide. It's the team league history, over 250 photographs, the Hockey Hall of Fame section, all-star records, last season's final statistics, this year's schedule, complete team directories, and a special Stanley Cup section, all in one full-size book. It's the same book that Gary and I use. The 1984 NHL Guide and Record Book is available by sending $15.95 to NHL Guide and Record Book, Box U, 34th floor, 500 Fifth Avenue, New York, New York, 10110.
High sticking penalties to Fogelin and Courtnall on that last play. Each team a man short. Edmonton trying to clear it out of their own zone and do. But number 27, Matt Stalin, over to his defense partner. Now it comes right back to Stalin. Stalin moves in, takes a hit from Gregg, but the play was offside anyway at the Edmonton Oiler blue line.
Dr. Randy Gregg, I don't think he examined his own knees this year, Dan, when he had some problems. He has, however, as we have noted numerous occasions, done the odd stitch job on his own teammates, especially in practice times. One player for the Bruins that has really impressed me throughout the course of the season has been Matt Stalin. I think he's a fine, aggressive, young European hockey player that plays the Bruins style rather well.
23-year-old rookie out of Sweden is Stalin. Here's Kevin Lowe trying to clear it, knocked down by Slager. Slager bumped on the far side and taken out by this man Lowe, who lets Gregg take the puck. Randy Gregg now into the center ice area to Napier. He gives it to Messier. Messier to Gregg. Couldn't hold it in at the point, and Gregg, number 21, has to backtrack to Lowe. Kevin Lowe over to Gretzky, who's just over the boards. Back to Lowe again. Lowe shoots one, tipped away by O'Connell. Comes in front. Here's Napier. He couldn't get it into Lean. Flips it to Simmer. He missed it. Here's Coffey at the point. Off O'Connell's shoulder and then off the glass. Gretzky centered the pass behind Napier. Fergus couldn't get it up. Puck behind the goal, and Keens tipped it away. Gretzky gets it. Gretzky. Look at him maneuver. Gretzky got it in front, and then Coffey shot it wide. Here's Napier's shot. Intercepted, and Fergus starts back. Fergus dumps it in and then heads for the bench of the line change. Well, if Gretzky is weary and tired, he didn't show it with the moves he made about 10 seconds ago.
I'd like to have had a stop clock on him on that particular play, Dan. He had possession of the puck. It seemed like forever, especially to the Bruins.
Here comes Coffey. Looks to Curry. Curry looks for Gretzky. Tipped away by Reed, and he almost put it in his own net. Back comes Courtnall. Team's back at full strength. The Bruins dump it in. Huddy and Reed to the corner. In comes Curry. Linsman gets it loose. Shoots it around onto the other wing. Number 21, Frank Simonetti. Shoots one. Moog to save. Rebound to Middleton. Blocked by Coffey and then covered up on by Andy Moog. And we'll get a face-off in the Edmonton zone. 5 left in the second period. Boston leading Edmonton.
Play. Take over for Grant Fuhr. Here you can see Middleton getting a good shot away that Moog was able to cover up on.
Here is a chance from the face-off. Goring's shot blocked, and then the Oilers clear it down the ice. Goring hustling back. 35-year-old veteran Butch Goring. Jabor. Now to Simonetti. Simonetti, the rookie, drops it back. Reed shot, and a glove save there by Moog on the shot by the rookie Dave Reed. 20-year-old former Peterborough Pete and a native of Toronto.
Once again, Moog had to come up with a save. Dave Reed, number 30, 6'4", the Boston Bruins, has done an excellent job fitting into the Bruins style. Here's this last maneuver we were talking about a couple of shifts ago by Wayne Gretzky, and let's watch Gretzky just handle that puck. He is so agile. You can see number 27, Matt Stalin. He tried to get a piece of Gretzky. He was just swinging off him. Tom Fergus, number 28, he tried. None of them were successful.
Back to the live action. Krushelnyski behind his own goal. Coffey clears to Napier. Now Napier through center ice. Number 18, Napier, dropping it to Carroll. A shot wide. Comes to Copy. Copy to Carroll. He missed it. And the puck comes all the way to the Edmonton end of the rink. Number 22, Huddy, is there. Edmonton trailing 4-2. Pass to Krushelnyski intercepted, and Milbury shot it back in. Now Huddy cleared it out. Krushelnyski gets it. Portnoy checked him. Krushelnyski steals it back to Napier, but O'Connell poked it away. Now Carroll for Edmonton. Centered. Came right in front of the net, over to the other wing. Napier in front. Carroll, a deflection, and Keen's an excellent save there. And then the Bruins shoot it down the ice. Copy back to get it. That's icing against Boston. And that was an excellent save by Doug Keen's. Let's go to our USA studio, and here is Jim Houston.
All right, Dan, Wayne Gretzky tonight has his 125th assist. That's about the number of calls he gets each day for the use of his name and for personal appearances. And somebody has to handle all that. In our second intermission, we're going to find out more about that. The marketing of Wayne Gretzky is a special intermission feature we have coming up. We'll also take a look at scores from around the National Hockey League. Now let's go back upstairs to Dan and Gary.
4:08 still to play in the second period. 4-2 in favor of Boston, and the Bruins win a faceoff in their own zone. Lukowicz trying to get it out of there. Now Curry held it in, but Casper knocked it away from him. The Oilers changed their lines around a little, and they have Gretzky with Curry and the big man Semenko now. Here's Fogelin. Fires it in. O'Connell for the Bruins, tried to shoot it out of there. Lowe held it in, gets it to Gretzky. Casper, whose job it is to shadow Gretzky, broke it up, and the puck comes to the Edmonton line. Slager is there. Bird behind the net, and Fogelin shoots one off the boards. Gretzky couldn't get it. And going back is O'Connell, and as he touches the puck, icing called against Edmonton. So you see Dave Semenko. He's out on the line with Gretzky at this point in the game.
Semenko's been on that line at a number of other occasions throughout the course of the years, being Gretzky and Jari Kurri's policeman, watching out for them very closely. Meanwhile, Mike Krushelnyski has gone to a line with Billy Carroll and Mark Napier. They've been trying to get that line going out there, and so far Billy Carroll has in fact scored one goal in tonight's game.
Face-off coming up. By the way, Casper is out on the ice as usual against Gretzky. I guess he would be the best in the league at taking care of number 99, wouldn't he?
He's been the most successful anyway over the course of the last few years, and you have to remember Casper has been out injured a lot, but this year has been a good year for him, and a lot of speculation that Casper's shoulders were going to continue to give him problems, but this year he has proven people wrong, and he has played and played healthy.
Fogelin from the faceoff loses the puck to Slager. Slager behind the net to Lukowicz. Now Lowe intercepts that, and an interference penalty coming up against Edmonton and against McClellan. Now Lukowicz and Lowe threatening to get into something. Meanwhile, an interference penalty coming up against the Oilers, and I think against Kevin McClellan. Here you see the interference sign by the referee Fournier.
I'm sure indeed it is going to Kevin McClellan. McClellan stopping before going into that penalty box, having a few words with Mike Milbury. McClellan, a very rugged, aggressive center iceman for the Edmonton Oilers. He plays it tough.
7 goals for McClellan this year. I don't think he's had anything near the year the Oilers expected from him after the great playoff he had last year for him.
I think they definitely expected much more offensive production out of McClellan, but he has provided them with some aggressiveness down the middle, and he's a big man out there.
Interference was the call. 16:48 the time. Gretzky had the puck for the moment. Now the Bruins control and work it back to their own goal. Simmer trying to feed it to Bourque. Lost it on the power play. Here's Raymond Bourque. In front to Crowder. On his knees was Lowe to block that shot, and Gretzky and plays it off the boards to center ice. Here's Bourque for Boston. Gretzky there to knock it away. Bourque again. to Mike O'Connell. Into Crowder. Drop pass to Linsman. Back to the point to O'Connell. Over to Bork. Centered. Linsman deflects it wide. Linsman and Gretzky behind the net fight for it. Now Simmer getting it loose. Charlie Simmer to O'Connell. A drive and a glove save by Moog as Linsman was in that slot area and took a rough ride from some of his ex-Oiler teammates.
Now, how would you like to be Andy Moog in that situation and try to see the puck and be responsible for keeping it out of your net? He had Ken Linsman in front of him. He had Keith Crowder in front of him, and he had his own number 4, Kevin Lowe, in front of him. Here, Bork just tries to feed Linsman. Linsman tips it beautifully, but not quite on net. Moog was down on the play. He wasn't exactly getting up too quickly either. Right after that is when he had 3 players right in front of him screening him, but nevertheless he was still able to come up with the puck.
Linsman, Middleton, Slager, and Reed have scored for Boston. Curry and Carroll for Edmonton. It's 4-2 Boston. There's Coffey getting out of the zone. Got to center. Now Bork breaks it up at his own line to Reed, number 36. Boston still in a power play. Reed to Bork. Drop to O'Connell. Into Middleton. He fanned on it and fell right down. And then the puck is cleared over the glass. If your timing isn't right, you fall in the seat of your pants, I guess is the moral of Rick Middleton story.
Well, that's happened to Rick Middleton twice tonight, and this time some laughter went up in the stands, but one thing for sure, if Rick Middleton had have connected, I think it would have been 5-2 here. Watch O'Connell feed Middleton the pass, and there's number 16. He went to wind up, just miscued. You see the puck ends up hitting the boards and coming off in front of him as he goes for a tumble.
Kind of like when you lift your head on the tee in golf. You miss the ball. Or don't hit it very well. Puck is cleared into the center ice area. Bork has it. Shot it back into the Edmonton zone. And then it's cleared by Huddy down the ice. 28 seconds left in the McClellan penalty. A minute 37 left in the period. Boston with Bork still with the man advantage. Pass at center, intercepted by Coffey. He was checked, and now Bork. Head to Reed to Middleton. Middleton centered. They try for that deflection, and Goring just missed it. And then the Oilers shoot it down the ice. Deeds flips it up for Goring. He missed it. Huddy intercepts. Lost it. Now Bork coming back ahead to Middleton. Middleton trying to flip it through, and Paul Coffey comes back. A minute left in the period. Middleton breaks it up. Here's McClellan just out of the penalty box. So the Oilers have killed it off. Simonetti checked him. And now Reed comes to center. Bill Carroll into the zone to Lowe. Now to Fogelin. And Carroll tries to shoot it in. The Bruins goaltender Keynes on the boards to Reed. Now to O'Reilly. Krushelnyski checking him to Napier. And he flips it into the Boston zone, and Simonetti. Well, the Bruins cleared to O'Reilly, and now to Casper, who shoots it down the ice. This one will go the distance, and it will be icing against Boston. We have 18 seconds left in the period.
As you look at number 2, Lee Fogelin, who was formerly the captain of the Edmonton Oilers before he relinquished that to Wayne Gretzky a year ago. Harry Sinden pacing behind the bench. And his counterpart across the ice, Glenn Sather. One thing, Dan, I wanted to mention was the fact that I can't believe how much ice time Butch Goring gets. Here's a player that is picked up on waivers, comes to the Boston Bruins at a very appropriate time. They had lost Barry Peterson, their key center iceman. Goring was hoping to get some ice time, some spot duty play, some excellent work on penalty killing perhaps, but he's been on penalty killing, power play, and regular shift duty, getting a lot of ice time.
Here's Courtnall clearing the center ice. Comes to the Edmonton line. We're down to 8 seconds left. The Oilers trailing 4-2 as Huddy clears it to Coffey behind the goal. Coffey flips to center to Semenko, and that will end the second period. And in that second period, each team scoring a goal. After a 3-1 Boston lead, the teams exchanged goals in that second period. Coming up in the second intermission, the marketing of number 99. Wayne Gretzky of the Edmonton Oilers. Stay with us for that. After
Wayne Gretzky's desk. This is where he makes decisions about his off-ice activities. Wayne's desk and office are located within the offices of Corp Sport International, an Edmonton-based sports marketing firm. Corp Sport represents about 25 clients, from beauty queens like Miss Universe Karen Baldwin to boxers like Willie DeWitt. But it's this young man who brings in most of the business.
Wayne would be very easily 80% of the business. Myself, he is probably even more than that of a given day's work. But the other partners and employees in the company work with the other clients that we have, and I would say realistically the amount of time consumed in Wayne Gretzky affairs is certainly 75 to 80%.
It's difficult to keep track of just how many products Wayne Gretzky endorses. Many of those products are, of course, hockey-related, but he also plugs a lot of non-hockey, non-sports items, even toys. The Wayne Gretzky action doll has been popular for Christmas shoppers.
When you think back being a young kid and all the things that you used to like and used to think about having and doing, and now to be my age and walk in a store and see my posters or dolls, as you say, it's exciting. Mike Barnett did a study on the fan mail that I get, and the age group was mostly young girls and young boys between the age of 6 and 11. So it was Mike's idea to approach Mattel with the doll, and we came out with it, and I understand it's doing very well, and the kids enjoy it, and I guess that's what it's all about.
An interesting new endorsement is a breakfast cereal, Pro Stars, produced by General Mills. Currently, the cereal is only available in Canada, but if General Mills' U.S. parent company decides to start selling Pro Stars, it could prove to be a very lucrative association for Gretzky.
And Mom likes my picture, too. The people who run the cereal and make the cereal did a test market without using Wayne Gretzky, and it was one of the highest ratings of likable cereals that they've ever had on a test market. Exciting because the cereal is going to go, and now with Wayne Gretzky attached to it, hopefully I can help sell a little bit, and it's something that I'd like to stick with for a long time.
You like the cereal?
I love the cereal.
Any firm which uses Wayne's time, his face, or his name has to pay a price. But they can use his number, 99, and legally they don't have to pay. That's been a problem in the past.
Once 99 became synonymous with Wayne Gretzky, a number of companies started developing products with 99 on them in the Oiler blue, orange, and white colors, and they fell under public domain. So you would see 99 T-shirts and 99 watches and things like that in a lot of cases were an inferior product and certainly were being construed by the public as a Wayne Gretzky item, and in fact they weren't. So we were in a position that we had to do something about it, and consequently we contacted a number of manufacturers who were competitive with the people making the pirate products, and we put out an official authorized endorsed product, and we were fortunate in that for the most part it killed off the pirate items.
The television commercials have led to television appearances. This past summer, Wayne was a special guest on a soap opera, The Young and the Restless. His fans loved it, but the critics weren't kind. They said his acting was awful.
Call me Wayne. Everybody does.
Wayne.
Dabbling in that area now is likely something that it's almost a no-win situation other than the personal enjoyment of doing it. The nature of whether you want to call them critics or whatever are not very often to welcome a professional in one area to be successful in another area. So when we discussed the possibilities with Wayne, the first and foremost thing was that Wayne very much wanted to test the waters, to see what it would be like to play someone other than Wayne Gretzky.
In the fall, Wayne also appeared in a Canadian-made comedy series, Snow Job, seen on the CTV network. For him, show business is simply fun, and it's a learning experience. He stresses that he's not seriously considering entertainment as a second career, although he has considered taking some acting lessons.
I've thought a lot about taking acting lessons. Whether or not I'm going to go that road or not is still up in the air. I really don't know. As I said, right now I'm doing it for fun. As far as the criticism goes, if you're the first time into something and involved with the press, then it can be hard. Wayne Gretzky's used to it. They told me that we finished hockey at 12, finished hockey at 15, and still doing my job pretty well right now on a good hockey team. As far as acting goes, you're going to get a lot of criticism, you get a lot of people that say you can't do it, and you have to just wash out what those people say and still go ahead and do it.
Not everything Wayne Gretzky does is for profit or for fun. He donates his time to many charities. Currently, he's joined actress Sally Struthers as a spokesman for the Christian Children's Fund. And that's just one example of his public service work. He was also recently honored by the Canadian government for his efforts in the fight against drug abuse.
The one thing about being professional athletes that we can help out an awful lot because of the high profile that we do have. We do a lot of work, every player on the hockey team, and not just our team, all sports, football, baseball teams, the rest of the hockey teams, they all work hard at it. And we do it to help the communities, to help the kids who are less fortunate. We don't do it to win awards. If you win awards, that's great, but that's not the reason why we do it.
From soaps to cereal, Wayne Gretzky's name is known everywhere. It's been great for Wayne and great for the NHL. He's taken the name of the game of hockey to places where the only ice is in the bottom of a glass, and that's great for the National Hockey League.
Oilers 2. Second period scoring summary. Boston took a 4-1 lead on a goal by Ken Linsman. But then at 11:24, Bill Carroll scored his 8th of the year to cut the Boston lead to 2 goals. Shots on goal in the second period. Each team had 9 apiece. And in the game, 19 for the Bruins, 15 for the Oilers. Other games, all in the second period. It is Montreal 2, St. Louis nothing. It is Washington and New Jersey. Now Washington a 2-1 lead. Quebec and the Islanders, that game tied at 2 in the second. And Detroit and Philadelphia 1-1 in the second. And in the NCAA, third period, Providence still leading Boston College 3-1. Here we go with third period action in Boston. And the Bruins with a 4-2 lead. Work it to Rick Middleton, now to Butch Goring. And it's shot in. Reed poking it in behind the net. Lowe is there to get it for Edmonton. Trying to go out on the opposite side. Reed intercepts. And then the puck winds up flat right up on top of the boards along the glass. And we get a rather unusual stoppage. There you see the puck right on the top of the boards.
And with that puck, right in front of it, Kevin Lowe, the very smart defensive-minded defenseman for the Edmonton Oilers, one of the better shot blockers in this league. One thing I'm sure Harry Sinden told his troops in between periods, Dan, is that they have to come out. They have played 2 really good, strong periods of hockey. They have to add the third because with this offensive machine.
There's Middleton with a quick shot that gave Moog some anxious moments as it hit his shoulder. Now, Gary, we were talking in the intermission as we look at the quick try by Middleton from the faceoff. And off Moog's shoulder and then cut. It's not that Edmonton has played that badly here this evening. The Bruins have really played a heck of a game.
They really have. And the Bruins style of play has really come out tonight, and they have done it to a T. Now, in this third period, they have to continue because the Edmonton Oilers, the scoring machine in the NHL, doesn't take them long to score a couple of goals.
Face-off won by Edmonton and controlled by Fogelin. Flips it to Pat Hughes. He's tied up by Middleton. And we'll get another face-off coming up in the Edmonton zone. Gary mentions the Oilers. But the 2 goals they've scored tonight, that's 370 goals on the year. And that's tops in the National Hockey League. And of course, last year the Oilers had a record for the most goals ever. So they can score. And now another stoppage in play as Blum was bumped in against the boards by a couple of Oilers.
Talk about scoring, Dan. Someone in your screen right there, number 16, in front of John Blum, Rick Middleton. Middleton has not been scoring this year the way that he has in the past. Only 26 goals so far this year. Last year, he had 47. The year before, 49, 51 previously. Always has been 40 goals or more in this Boston Bruin uniform, and this year has been a big disappointment for the Bruins and for Middleton.
I talked about last year and Edmonton's prowess at scoring. 446 goals last year. So their 370 this year is best in the league, but not near that rate of a year ago. Here's a line of Messier with Anderson and Lindstrom for Edmonton. The Bruins countering with Linsman, Crowder, and Simmer. Anderson shot it off the boards, tipped back in, now called it an offside, and we have a rash of whistles in the early going of the third period.
Look at Mike Milbury, who was also, before he really came into the National Hockey League, also a pretty good football player in his college days. If you look at this Edmonton team, we talked about the scoring. This line out for them right now, Messier, Lindstrom, and Anderson are a line that they count on for scoring when Gretzky and Curry are being watched as closely as they are tonight.
Puck is quickly cleared down the ice by Edmonton, and another whistle and another face-off, and that's the story of the third period. We've played 1 minute and 10 seconds. Harry Sinden, not only the GM these days, but the coach, and he's seen his team since he took over play right at 500.
Glenn Sather behind the bench. Sather has done an excellent job with this organization and building this team. He is the president, the coach, the general manager. It doesn't seem to bother him the least bit. He just takes every day in stride, and his little slump didn't bother Sather the least bit. I spent a couple of days actually talking off and on with Sather, and just watch him.
Here's Crowder with a quick shot. Moog to save on that. Now Milbury to Crowder. Moog again. Rebound shot wide. And Anderson clears it to Lindstrom. Milbury trying to hold it in. Now Anderson fired to center. O'Connell knocks it down. Stolen by Messier. And Keith Crowder, who had that chance moments ago for the Bruins, shot it to center. Huddy drops it into his own zone. And here's Paul Coffey to Charlie Huddy. Back to Coffey. Ahead to Anderson, number 9. Mike O'Connell broke it up and flips it down. And Huddy has to go back. Now to Lindstrom. Ahead to Anderson. Long shot wide by 3 or 4 feet. Messier digging in. Given a rough ride by Milbury. And Casper gets it loose to O'Reilly. Now to Steve Casper, who flips it in. Andy Moog flipped it on the boards. Gretzky had it, lost it. Casper holding it in for Boston. And now here's Lowe giving to Gretzky. To Curry, drop back to Lowe. Ahead to Curry, who missed the pass on his skate. And then it's shot down the ice by Bork, with Lowe going back to get it. The Oilers trailing by 2, trying to get some offense going against the stiff checking of the Bruins. Here's Gretzky. Dumps it in, and Keane just cleared it away to O'Reilly. And the Bruins shoot it right back out to Courtnall. Moves in, and a bullet up high against the right shoulder of Moog, and he held on to it. Coast-to-coast coverage of the NHL Niski. Now to Carroll behind the net, tried to center. They stuff it in front, but Slager knocked it away after Keanes had got a leg on it. Louis Slager, the ex-Nordique. Taken out by Huddy. Got around on the boards, and Carroll couldn't hold it. Here's O'Connell. Shoots, stick save by Moog. Rebound cleared by Napier. And the Oilers drop it back of their own goal. And now Coffey starts back. Number 7, Paul Coffey. Reed intercepts, and the Bruins come right back as Reed feeds Middleton. And he just dumps it in with Moog, setting it up for Coffey. Reed beats him to it. Reed to Butch Goring. Loose at the side of the goal and the outside at the Boston blue line. And the Bruins are staying with the Oilers stride for stride here to protect this 2-goal lead.
And they're just playing a very safe game here in this third period. They have not aggressively forechecked. When they have entered the Edmonton's end zone forechecking wise, it's been with one man. They have laid back a number of times. They have 5 men right across their own blue line. Now for the Oilers, they have to find a ways and means of getting in there. They have tried dumping it in. That has been fairly useless in this third period because they have not had a winger or a forward in there quickly enough And Keynes has been stopping the puck behind the net and then feeding it up to his defenseman, who've just nicely put it back out in the neutral ice area.
Here's Middleton in to steal one, but Lowe gets it back, lost it again to Middleton. Now Reed, number 36, flips it into the corner. And Lee Fogelin controls for Edmonton, giving it to Gretzky. He left it for Fogelin. Shot off the boards. Gretzky races down ice after it. O'Connell is there to clear it. And here's Reed, number 36, Dave Reed. But Fogelin broke it up. Now Casper, and as he played the puck, and it's called on a delayed offside at the Edmonton Oilers blue line.
Once again, Casper doing an excellent job in covering Wayne Gretzky, making life pretty miserable for Gretzky. He's not a dirty player, and I am sure Gretzky appreciates that, just plays him very closely. And you will see here why that was whistled offside, not because of that puck that Steve Casper picked up, but just prior to that.
It was called on the earlier play, but a delayed, and when Casper touched the puck, then they whistle it down. Here's Paul Coffey for Edmonton, laying one off the boards to center ice, and Ray Bourque over to get it. Crowder now taken out by Coffey. Now Bourque will try. Ray Bourque. Centered one, Simmer deflection, Crowder shoots. He scores! Keith Crowder.
This time the Bruins saw their opportunity coming. They did not hesitate at putting two men in. Ray Bourque doing an excellent job controlling the play, getting it into Edmonton's zone, and then just putting it nicely towards the net. Now you can see that Moog made the original save, but the loose puck was lying in front of him. That's when Keith Crowder enters the picture. Now watch. Simmer, number 23, he's in there first of all, but it was number 18, Keith Crowder, who saw Moog down. He went high.
And it's a 3-goal lead for the Bruins again at 5-2. Edmonton's Carroll trying to hold it in. Knocked down in front of the net, and then cleared with a hand pass from one player to another by John Blum, so that calls the play back. Now Keith Crowder getting a big goal here for Boston.
Crowder has fit into the Bruins style of play extremely well. He's a tenacious, aggressive winger. He can put the puck in the net. He was one of the former baby Bulls. You can remember way back in the years of the World Hockey Association. He was playing for the Birmingham Bulls for a short period of time at 18 years of age.
Crowder's 31st goal of the year. Here's Mike O'Connell for the Bruins, who have a 3-goal lead. Trying to clear it out. Greg held it in. Now Bill Carroll shot it into the corner, and Milbury gives to O'Reilly, who got it to center ice. Kevin Lowe for the Oilers. Flips it in. Milbury back to get it. Shoots it over onto the right wing side to O'Reilly. He gives it to O'Connell at center to Fergus. Drop pass to Courtnall. Back to Fergus, but Randy Gregg intercepts. To Mike Krushelnyski. The Oilers flip it in. Fergus has it for the Bruins. Quickly shooting it to Courtnall. Cleared outside the line. Shot back in by Carroll. Now the Bruins, Milbury poking one to center. Charlie Huddy over to Coffey. Coffey breaking in. Centered one. O'Reilly knocked it down, and O'Connell clears it for Boston. Back for Edmonton and controlling is Charlie Huddy. To Gretzky. Gretzky checked by O'Reilly. O'Reilly moving in. Centered. Oh, and Courtnall was open but couldn't get a stick on it. The Oilers come back. Here's Gretzky with Curry. Pass to Curry, and Keynes out to make a stick save. And then Boston shoot it to center ice. Coffey into Curry, but offside is that play at the Boston blue line. That to Gretzky. He's tied up, and Casper gets it for Boston. Banks it off the boards perfectly for Slager. Louis Slager checked by Coffey from behind. Puck centered, comes outside the line, and as O'Connell carries back in, it's offside. By the way, that last Boston scoring play, Crowder from Bourque and Simmer, 5:33 the time, and moments ago, Keynes with a big save.
On Dave Semenko, number 27 for the Oilers. Frank Simonetti, number 21 for the Bruins, had given up the puck. Bad defensive move, and none other than Dave Semenko was right there. They were lucky it was Dave Semenko. Meanwhile, back in the Edmonton end zone, Paul Coffey was doing some wrestling for the puck with Louis Schlager.
Fans here in Boston thought that should have been a penalty. What did Gary Green think?
Well, I don't. I think it was one of those borderline cases, Dan, and Harry Sinden. What a fiery, intense coach Sinden is, I'll tell you. He just paces that bench back and forth, doing lots of yelling at the officials and right into the game.
He's a competitor. Here is a loose puck in the corner. Edmonton breaking out. Messier, number 11. Drop pass. Lindstrom shot blocked, and Goring flips to center ice. Reed has it. Reed to Goring. Pass to Middleton. That's knocked away. And right back comes Lindstrom. Drop to Messier. Shot right on, and Keens to his knees to make a save and hold on.
Keens has been pretty well liked here in his own building, where he has had some great performances this season. You can see Keens here getting set. He was out, then starts to move back in, but keeping the angle at all times. He's making an easy glove save. The Bruins with a 5-2 lead, only 10 minutes and 57 seconds remaining, but that is still plenty of time, especially for the Edmonton Oilers.
Doug Keens, by the way, is 6-1-1 in his last 7 starts, and he has a 5-2 lead in this game. With just under 11 minutes left, Coffey's shot blocked, and Crowder breaks out for the Bruins. Couldn't get it at Coffey. Flips it out on the wing for Hughes to McClellan. Bork tied him up. And number 33, Blum, shot it to center where Gregg controls for Edmonton. Shot it into the Boston zone. Blum shoots it right back up. The Bruins have enough goals. They're content to stay back and try and stop them, as Ray Bork does right there. Here's McClellan, centers to Hughes. Hughes checked before he could shoot. And then Blum gives it to Simmer. And the Bruins are playing defense with a capital D right now.
Well, they are, and they're doing it well, Dan.
Now, as a puck is knocked loose, a penalty will be called here against Boston. 10:02 to play. The Bruins lead 5-2. We'll be right back.
Can you believe it? JT with an $18 million contract?
Sure is a long.
Forwards check. Here's Huddy. Over to Coffey. Dropping it to Huddy. That shot blocked by Casper and bounces to center. Here's Casper with O'Reilly. The pass to O'Reilly. A shot. He scores! A short-handed goal by Terry O'Reilly, and that could be the backbreaker for the Edmonton Oilers.
Well, that penalty by Linsman didn't put them at a disadvantage at all. In fact, it has given them another goal here. Casper just feeding a nice pass. It was a 2-on-1 right over to number 24, Terry O'Reilly, who puts it by Moog. Charlie Huddy had lost balance and lost possession of the puck just before Casper picked it up here. You could not see Huddy in the screen, but he had fallen. That caused the 2-on-1, and a big reason why the Boston Bruins have now gone ahead 6-2.
The veteran captain, Terry O'Reilly, 33 years of age, and they are standing and cheering in Boston Garden. It has not been a banner year for the Bruins, but tonight they have been terrific. Puck shot in by Edmonton. The Bruins clear it. Coffey held it in. Over to Gretzky. Now to Anderson behind the net to Messier. Back to Gretzky. Gretzky shoots one wide by a few feet. Milbury then cleared it away. What's got into these Boston Bruins tonight?
I don't know, but if they continue this way, Dan, and in fact beat the Edmonton Oilers, Harry Sinden's going to ask them why they can't do that every night and why they haven't been doing it all year long.
Here's Gretzky to Anderson. Shot it through the crease. Rebound to Messier. And that was stopped in front of the net at the defense by either Milbury or O'Connell. And at this point, everything is going right for Boston. Here's Messier moving in, and now the Oilers go offside. We're down to 8:32 left in the third period. 6-2 Boston. That last goal, a shorthanded goal. O'Reilly's 11th of the year. Casper the assist. 10:33 the time.
Well, Keane's coming up with the saves when he's had to. Clogging in front of the net. You can see Goring, number 22. Mike O'Connell, number 20. And, of course, Milbury, number 26. So Keane's has had lots of help in front of the net. He's made the initial save. And he has had needed help at clearing those rebounds.
Puck is shot in. Hunter in to get it. Got it behind the goal. It's centered. Comes to Gregg. His shot. Keane's the save. Rebound. And Keane's is able to smother that. And a stoppage in play. 13 seconds left in Linsman's penalty. 8:14 left here in the third period, and Doug Keane's has been red hot.
Okay, count him in front of the net. Keane's makes the original save, but one big reason why the Bruins are being successful tonight is that they're not really getting outnumbered in front of the net. There are 3 Oilers, but there were 3 Bruins, and the 4th even came into the picture.
Face-off. Won by Boston, and Middleton clears it down the ice. The Bruins are still short-handed. Moog sets it up for Lowe. And now Linsman is back on as the Oilers Lowe feeds Randy Gregg. He dumps it into the Boston zone. Hunter in to get it. Gets it to McClellan. He's checked before he could get anything going, and Slager flips to Reed. Reed poking it to Fergus, but Coffey back to get it. Fergus and Coffey fight for it. Puck comes to Tallene at the point. It came outside the line, and now it's whistled on an offside. For our local systems, we'll pause here. It's the NHL on USA. Tallene on to right wing, and Slager breaks out. Slager to Lukowicz. That failed to click, and Gregg gives it to Coffey. Now to Napier. Number 18, Mark Napier, gets it in front. Lowe moving in. His pass to Krushelnyski. Keane stops that. And the Bruins, led by Slager, come back. Slager trying to get it to Lukowicz. Lowe breaks it up. Now to number 17, Curry. Curry flipped it in, and Bork has it for Boston. Shot it to center. Gretzky intercepting there. Gretzky coming back is checked. Now Gretzky gets help from Semenko. Gretzky flips it in, and Bork has it for Boston over to Courtnall. He cleared to O'Reilly, and that's called back on a 2-line offside. We're down to now 6:14 remaining in the third period.
Well, you look at Terry O'Reilly. He scored the shorthanded goal. One thing that the Bruins, Dan, have done extremely well tonight in their own end zone and has given the Oilers some problems is that they have played the old style of Bruin come out of your own end zone. They have been using those boards. They've just been rifling it around. Their wingers have been there, and they have been chipping it out more or less in most occasions. They have not gone to a lot of fancy passing up the middle ice area. That has not worked against the Oilers, I guess, in the past, and they were not doing it tonight, but using their strength along the boards.
Edmonton shooting it in. Keane's out of the net to clear it. Courtnall couldn't get it out. Held in by Curry, but now it's O'Reilly. Ahead to Courtnall, into Casper. In front of the net. And Moog, a save on Courtnall, who was into the doorstep. Gretzky coming back. Casper breaks that up. And now O'Reilly has it. He flipped it onto the boards. Semenko shot it into the corner. Bork intercepts to O'Reilly. This line has played well all night for Boston. Casper, O'Reilly, and Courtnall. And they've been out against the Gretzky line and have done a heck of a job. Here's O'Reilly, who scored that last goal. Gets away from Gretzky. To Courtnall. Shoots. Moog the save. Rebound cleared. Now O'Connell shot it to the corner. O'Reilly got it into the corner. Gretzky trying to work it loose to Curry. Now to Coffey, ahead to Semenko. And as that puck comes, he shoots it right back out. Here's O'Reilly to Linsman, but Huddy broke it up. Lead pass to Gretzky. Gretzky to Willie Lindstrom. Keen's the save. And Linsman clears the rebound. And when the Bruins aren't there, their goaltender, Doug Keen's is. 4:45 left after the icing call against Boston. We'll be right back to Boston Garden on USA.
Dan, those two players are extremely good. I like Doug Wilson as well from the Chicago Blackhawks.
Good
I think
point.
that he is one that can also change over from defense to offense and right back to defense quickly.
Good point. I would agree with that. Face-off coming up in the Edmonton zone. We're down to 4:10 left. Krushelnyski flips to center. Napier knocked it down. Now low for Edmonton, trying to go around Vork. Vork made a diving check. Now centered by Lowe. Comes to the point. Vogeland shot wide. Simonetti and Krushelnyski battle for it. Goring comes in. And Butch Goring is able to clear it on the boards. Lowe held it into Napier with a quick wrist shot just wide. And Middleton fired it to center for Boston. Vogeland trying to set up Bill Carroll on right wing. Vork is there. Clearing one onto the boards. Here's Vogeland. Off Goring's stick. Look at him. Batted up high with his stick, and he hit it with a high stick, and that's why play is called, and the faceoff will be in the Boston zone. Here's Jim Houston.
Some of the Edmonton Oilers players said before this game they didn't like to play in this building because of the smaller ice surface and the close checking. Well, they found out what it's all about tonight. It's been a great team effort for the Bruins, so it's tough to name a mobile player of the game, but Matt Stalin has played well. Doug Keen's has played well. So has Ray Bourque, Dave Reed. I think we'll put all the weight on Gary Green's shoulder to come up with the final decision. But we'll talk to the mobile player of the game immediately following the contest.
Don't forget any of those checking line members. Portnow, Casper, and O'Reilly.
You can't forget any of them because they have done an excellent job, and whenever you can keep
See, we're a good help. We've given you about 12 candidates now.
And I
figure it out from here. You're on your own now,
Boy,
Coach.
I'll tell you, way to put the pressure on me, Dan. I'm not going to give you any tips, but when you keep the Edmonton Oilers down to 2 goals, you got to look at the goaltender.
Here's Milbury trying to flip on, gets it to Goring. Number 22, Goring. Checked, and Hunter comes back for Edmonton, but not too far. Now Goring almost stole it. Here's Coffey. Lead pass to McClellan. Trying to center. Simonetti knocked it down. Now McClellan. Check. They score! Coffey, the trailer on the play. Picked up a loose puck and put it into the top corner. 3:03 remaining, and that cuts the Boston lead to 6-3. And that time, the Oilers had too many men and outnumbered the Bruins in that front of the net area that you talked about earlier.
Well, that they did, and it's no time right now for the Bruins to get sloppy defensively. They were a little bit negligent here of not taking their man out. You could see Butch Goring falling there. But the trailer on the play, well, that was Paul Coffey, and he picked that corner beautifully. Simonetti lost possession of the puck. He really never had it, just overskated it. Simonetti, number 21 for the Bruins, and then number 22, Goring, he tried and failed. That left a loose puck, and you don't want to leave it for Paul Coffey because he can snipe it.
Good play there by McClellan as Goring hooked at him. He knew he couldn't shoot. He just dropped it back, and Coffey was there to put it in. Charlie Huddy now controlling for the Oilers. The scoring play. Coffey's 31st of the year. McClellan and Hunter. The assist, 16:57 the time. Here's Coffey again for Edmonton. Matt Stalin was there to break it up and tip it to center. Number 7, Coffey going back for Boston. Now Semenko to Curry. Curry dropping to Gretzky. Look at Casper tie Gretzky up. Huddy shot from the point. And then Keen's and Semenko jab with their sticks at each other. Semenko takes a push at O'Reilly, then O'Connell. And Dave Semenko is mad at the Boston Bruins.
Well, I thought that Terry O'Reilly and Dave Semenko were going to square off there. Just as well that the linesmen, Mark Vines and Ron Asseltine, got out of there, but watch. Semenko's going to go for the whole Bruin bench.
He took a jab with a stick at John Blum, the Boston defenseman and a former Oiler.
Not always a comfortable situation when that visiting player has to leave a game, such as right now when Dave Semenko had to walk right by the Bruins bench in order to go to his dressing room.
Yeah, that is a rather different situation from other rinks around the NHL. I think it would be an intimidating factor on, at least if I were out on that ice and had to take on somebody and then walk by the other 15 Bruins on the bench.
You just know a few words are going to be exchanged. Let's take a look and see how this happened. You could see Semenko in front of the net. He actually pushed Keens with his left arm there after Keens had made the save, and then speared Keens, and Keens had backed off from it, not wanting to get into it.
Yeah, but Keens had given him a jab first, though.
Well, let's watch this. We can see it one more time. Keens took that and released, but I don't know, Dan. I don't know whether a smack in the pads is equivalent to a spear in the stomach.
Meanwhile, that goaltender has the big belly protector on. I'm not trying to admonish either player or get either player off the hook. They both took jabs at each other. Meanwhile, you can tell the way the referee Ron Fournier felt about it. Keens gets a minor, and Semenko gets a minor and a major. And we're down to 2:17 to play.
Well, Harry Sinden for a change behind that bench, pretty cool and calm right now. Of course, with only 2:17 remaining and a pretty comfortable 3-goal lead. Glenn Sather and the Oilers. John Muckler, the assistant coach to Glenn Sather, by his side.
Here you see the 7 minutes against Semenko and the 2 minutes against Keens. Keens gets a slashing penalty. Semenko gets a 5-minute major for spearing and a minor for roughing. By the way, Edmonton, coming into this game, had won just 4 of their last 13 games, and it could be 4 of their last 14. 4 of their last 13, but they'd gone 3 in a row unbeaten coming in here. And the dominance of the Bruins over Edmonton, although Edmonton had won 4 of the last 5 meetings. Over the years, lifetime, Boston has won 11, lost 5, tied 3. Here in Boston Garden, an even greater discrepancy in favor of the Bruins. 7 wins, only 1 loss and 1 tie. And that's an unusual story against this Edmonton Oilers team.
I think what you're telling me and everyone else is that the Edmonton Oilers wouldn't, if they do get out of their conference, wouldn't exactly want to meet the Boston Bruins in the Stanley Cup Finals.
Puck shot in by the Bruins. Over onto the boards. Now Edmonton clearing one for Curry. Intercepted. O'Connell knocks it down. Mike O'Connell flipping one to Simmer. Simmer tried to get it to Linsman, who went off a skate. Edmonton come back. Here's Gretzky with Curry. Broken up by Simmer. And Gretzky cleared it. O'Connell knocked it down. Now Gretzky again. Up ice with a pass to Coffey, intercepted, and Bork is there. He fired it down the ice. Linsman going back to get it. Icing on the play against Boston. And we're down to 1:29 remaining here at Boston Garden. Now McClellan taking a poke at Blum of the Bruins. He and Linsman have some words too.
I was just going to say, Kenny Linsman would like to get back at his old team for having traded him, I think, but as you can see, Linsman getting rode off into the boards pretty hard by number 24, Kevin McClellan. But it is Blum that is going to the dressing room, and I think a wise move. Kevin McClellan going for the Oilers. Ron Fournier just wants to get this game finished. 1 minute 29 seconds remaining. I don't know if we've seen the end of the rough stuff yet, Dan.
Fournier is at the penalty box to meet us. We're down to 1 minute 29 to play. It is 6-3 Boston. And we'll await the announcement from Fernier, who now checks with his linesman, Ron Asseltine. Well, Glenn Sather and John Muckler at the Edmonton bench can't be happy with the developments here tonight.
Well, they've got another tough game tomorrow night in Hartford, and they have been on a 5-game road trip. It started Tuesday evening in Long Island. Continue on. I would think right now that Glenn Sather would just like to finish with and not have his players use up any more energy than is necessary. They have got to face a tough Hartford Whalers team tomorrow night that has really been on the move.
6 wins in a row, an all-time Hartford Whaler team record, and unbeaten in their last 8 for Hartford. You know, I think the whole story of this game, Gary, I saw on that last shift by Gretzky and Curry. They broke down the ice, came into the Boston end of the rink. There were 5 Bruins back and just the 2 Oilers. You can't play 2 against 5. And that's the way Boston is winning.
Exactly, Dan, and you can see a number of nights when Gretzky and Curry will take advantage of 2-on-2 situations constantly, but when you're outnumbered by that score, then you're really going to have a tough time maneuvering out there, and it has shown. Gretzky and Curry combining on the very first goal of tonight's hockey game back in the first period of play, but have not since.
McClellan gets a minor for roughing. Blum gets a minor for rough minute misconduct. And each team will be 2 men short here for the next minute and 12 seconds. We have only a minute 29 remaining. 6-3 Boston leading. Gretzky and Napier are the Edmonton forwards. Here's Casper flipping it in. Casper's been out against Gretzky for most of this game. Now Paul Coffey. They head to Napier. Napier trying to go around Bork. Napier drops it to Curry. Now centered and broken up by Simonetti. Now Edmonton with their goaltender off and an empty net as Casper shoots, and Coffey got in front and blocked it. I thought the Oilers had too many men on. Here's Gretzky on a breakaway. Keane's the save on Gretzky. Here's Coffey at the point. Over to Curry, broken up, and Casper cleared it away. That's the kind of night it's for the Bruins. There's Coffey with a drive, and Keane stops that. And Middleton then cleared it out. Big save by Keane's on Gretzky's breakaway.
Gretzky admits he's not great on breakaways, doesn't really like them, but I thought he put a pretty good move on, but so did Keane's.
Gretzky cleared it in. Middleton is there to clear it right back out. Going back is O'Reilly. He's asking whether he's onside or offside. Lets the puck go, and then when Curry touches it, then the play is called. Never seen a player do what O'Reilly did right there. He stopped at the puck and asked the linesman Asseltine, am I onside if I touch it? I guess Asseltine can't tell him.
Well, he had lots of time as well, and that was a pretty unusual situation. That net was empty. Now here, the net was not empty on Wayne Gretzky. He was in all alone on Doug Keane's, goes to his backhand, but Keane's ends up stopping him.
Gary, wouldn't Gretzky, you mentioned him not being good on breakaways, wouldn't he be better off to shoot most of the time?
Well, I can't disagree with you on that one. Of course, I don't know.
Yes, it depends what the goaltender gives him.
Exactly. I think that I'm not going to question Wayne Gretzky's abilities to score, but as we've talked about on penalty or on breakaway situations, he doesn't have the greatest success.
3 seconds left as the puck is dropped, and this game is over. And the Boston Bruins hand the Edmonton Oilers a 6-3 defeat as Doug Keane's is congratulated by his teammates here at Boston Garden. And the Bruins now have an overall record against Edmonton here in Boston Garden of 8 wins, only 1 loss, and 1 tie in 10 games over the years the Oilers have been in the league. Coming up, our mobile player of the game. Stay with us for that here at Boston Garden. The Boston Bruins 6, the Edmonton Oilers 3. Jim Houston with our mobile player of the game coming right up.
Got me.
The
the Bruins' first win over the Oilers this season. It was 4-2 for the Bruins into the third period. Keith Crowder's 31st made it 5-2. Terry O'Reilly scored a shorthanded goal to seal it at 10:33 to make it 6-2. Paul Coffey scored a late goal for the Edmonton Oilers, but the Boston Bruins win by a score of 6-3 to take this game over the Edmonton Oilers. And the mobile player of the game tonight is Doug Keens, the goaltender for the Boston Bruins, who made some very key saves, including a breakaway on Wayne Gretzky at the end. Doug, this has to be a great lift for your hockey team to come up with a win at home over the Edmonton Oilers.
It's a big win for us. We're trying to get our game in gear for the playoffs, and who knows, we may move up in the standings. We're just trying to play well.
You've been on a hot streak, 7-1-1. You must feel good playing as well as you are.
It's a good feeling, and you know, the guys seem to play real well when I play, and that's always helpful. And we came up with a big game tonight, both offensively and defensively, and we were fortunate enough to win.
Lifetime in this building against the Edmonton Oilers, 1-1. The only game you've lost was the late November game, a 4-2 win for the Oilers in here. The reason, your mastery over the Oilers in this building?
I think it would have to be the building itself, because it is a smaller ice surface and we can plug up their holes, because they like to weave around the blue lines, and in a small rink, you know, a guy can reach the player so easily.
But still, your team has to play Bruin hockey, if we can call it that, and there have been nights this season when it hasn't been there.
I'll tell you, some nights we play so well, and then the next night it's a complete reverse, but you know, a good playoff will make our season, and that's all we're trying to do.
Now, tell me this, honestly, did you know it was Wayne Gretzky breaking in on you at the last moment?
Sure I did. Yeah, I saw him pick the puck up at center, and I just wanted to try and make him deke me and hope he would miss his shot, and I think he did. I think he didn't get it up as high as he wanted to.
Well, there it is, Wayne Gretzky on Doug Keene.
Yeah, he pulled it wide, and then he tried to get it up, and I just happened to get my hand over, and, you know, a different night they go in.
Tell me how much it meant for this team to have Raymond Bourque back in the lineup tonight.
Yeah, I think it means as much as us as it does for them, Wayne Gretzky. He's our dominant player, and he controls both our defense and our offense, and we need him for killing penalties and power play, so he's the vital part of our game.
Is there a feeling in the dressing room, is this team still shooting for second or first place in the Adams division? You're 5 points behind third right now. Are you still realistically shooting for that?
Well, we just want to win our games. If we catch somebody, fine. But we have to rely on help from other teams. So all you can do is win your games and get on a roll for playoffs.
It's obviously important to be on that roll, and you still have 2 games with Montreal, a game with Buffalo and Quebec. How do you see the situation shaping up in front of you with the dogfight for first place?
It's nice to be in that position where we can catch the teams. We, you know, if we had a good year, we should be in first place. It seems like nobody wants to walk away with our division. But realistically, we just want to play well against the teams in our division and let them know we're going to be ready for the playoffs.
Well, if you're going to get on a roll for the playoffs, what a better way to start it than a win over the Stanley Cup champions. It was a good one tonight, and congratulations on your victory.
Thank you very much.
Doug Keens is our mobile player of the game tonight, and for being our player of the game, we'd like Doug to have a beautiful analog digital quartz chronograph watch from Loris Quartz Watches and Clocks, and a handsome multicolored windbreaker from Toyota Line's genuine Toyota Sportswear. The Edmonton Oilers come to town, and the Boston Bruins aren't gracious hosts. 6-3 is the final score. The Bruins over the Oilers. We'll be back at the Boston Garden in just a moment.
What a victory for the should give Harry Sinden and his club a big lift going into this stretch drive.
I would really think so, because when you want to play well is right getting down to the last couple of weeks of the schedule and going into playoffs. That games like tonight you can draw on, Dan, because Harry Sinden right now can go to his team tomorrow in practice and go to in the next game and say, look, we have to play that way again. We played very well defensively. We played great forechecking when we had to. We got the lead, then we protected it, and we protected it well. We played a good, solid game as a team, and those are the type of games you have to come up with in playoffs.
You know, Gary, I've seen the Bruins several times this year. I think that may be their finest game of the year that I've seen.
I'd have to agree with you. They got good production right from their goaltending out, and you have to have it from goaltending out. If you can play a heck of a hockey game, but if you don't get good goaltending, then forget it. You're not going to necessarily win. They got it tonight from Doug Keens. He has obviously been playing well for them, and who knows, he may be their #1 goaltender going into playoffs unless Pete Peters comes up really big.
Big win, Jim Houston.
No question about that, Dan. You know, The Bruins have to play as a team. They don't have the individuals that can pull it out without working as a team, and they did tonight, winning 6-3 over the Edmonton Oilers. On USA has been brought to you by Stroh's and Stroh-Lite, official sponsors of the National Hockey League.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Al Crowley.
Throughout the history